Hello everyone, it's November the 8th message. Today is actually the 9th, but this will be for the 8th. Yesterday's message. And it seems to be from Proverbs. I'll let you check it out for verification. There, November 8th, Proverbs, and a little history on Proverbs. It's in the Old Testament. It is a book that just gives you a whole list of wisdom. If you want to know some things or the hidden secrets of doing good in the world, this is definitely the book to go to. It gives you just mainly the whole thing is about getting wisdom, no matter what the cost. Get wisdom, be wise, and so you will live a good life. So I'm going to read it. It's Proverbs 10:17. Then I'll read the whole thing, get to the specific verse, and pull something out of there that we can apply to our own lives, as I usually do. So it's loading up, but let me go back. Proverbs 10:17. And does it have a title? Yes. Solomon's Proverbs. Okay. This tells you specifically who wrote this group of proverbs or wise words, and that was Solomon. And Solomon, of course, is David's son. He came into kingdomship right after David died. And if you don't know the story of David, just read it. He was someone destined to be king by God. He was hated by the current king because he was destined, and his life was sought after to be killed. Um, he was sought after to be killed because he had that blessing on his life. So that's something we can pull from that for today to apply to our own lives, because if you feel that you're going through a bunch of trying situations, just know God's hands on your life. He has a destination for you. Bad times won't always stay, and you can make it through whatever. Just trust and have faith in God like David did. He wrote many poems and songs in the book of Psalms where he is asking God for help and he's thanking God for sticking with him. So this is his son, who is the new king. And his son is precious because the son became into kingdomship at pretty much a young age too. And he he was approached by God spiritually. He was asked, you know, now you are king. You can imagine sitting there. Of course, the whole image of him, he's just sitting there on his throne. He's probably, he's just gotten the news his dad has died. Now he's the king. He's feeling low. His heart is somber, and he is just, wondering how is he going to do this. So he's on his throne. He's just like, oh my gosh. And he's conversating into God. And in his spirit, he knows that God has asked him, he said, you know what? God said, I've taken care of David as king. I made sure that he was straight. He had everything he needed. And now you're being placed in the kingdomship too. And I need you to listen to me just like your father David listened to me. And I'm here to also ask you, what is it that you want or need? Because Solomon's just, he's like, oh, and God sees that he needs something, but he already knows what Solomon's going to ask for. Of course, God knows everything, but he just has a conversation with Solomon. And Solomon is like, I don't know. I'm young. I don't know how to lead these people. What am I supposed to do? I'm king today, and I didn't even ask for this really. So God's like, ask me for anything. I'll help you with your kingdom. And Solomon, he's like, the only thing I want is wisdom to know how to lead these people. And in that precious, non-greedy prayer, God blessed him because God said, you know what? I asked you, what did you want? And I would have gave it to you too. But all you asked me for was wisdom on how to lead my people. So I'm going to give you not only wisdom, but I'm going to give you the things that you could have asked me for, riches and all this other stuff and whatever you want. I'm going to give it to you. And it's written in the Bible, there's nobody else that's been pretty much in the world ever that's been as rich as Solomon has been. You can look at cities in the Middle East where, like in Dubai and everywhere like that, where the areas are just so rich, where everybody is riding in these fancy cars and everybody's got gold and stuff. And from commercials and stuff, you would think there's areas of extreme poverty, but there's some places that are so richly rewarded. But this was like how Solomon was. He had the fanciest of everything, his whole kingdom, whatever he wanted. People would come to visit him in awe from other places, from other lands, they've heard about him from all over. So you can imagine if you're in America and you hear over there in Israel that there's this new there's this new king. He's just balling up the frame. I mean, you just want to hear about him or whatever. If you're interested in that, you want to hear, oh, how does he do it? Can I come visit him or whatever? So people were coming from all over town, all over the world, because they heard this one place was being extremely blessed, and they wanted to find out, what's going on. How are you getting this blessed? Can I do it too? That kind of thing. So his fame is getting worldwide known. He is being blessed extremely by God because he didn't ask for those riches. Instead, he asked for the wisdom. So this is a proverb from Solomon, and I'll read the whole thing. Here it goes. These are the proverbs of Solomon. A wise son makes his father happy. So while he's with this wisdom, and now that I think of it, it makes sense. I'm forgetting all this because I would say this. Let me just cut to the chase. I would say this: if you're planning on reading the Bible for the first time, a good place to start is with Psalms. That's the book of Psalms, and they're mainly written by David, and they're all pretty much songs of David praying to God and praising God for getting him out of the situation where so many people sought his life because he was destined to be king. And it opens your spirit, and you're able to imagine you're saying these things to God, just like David was saying. Let your spirit be open, and it opens you. Also, I say move on to Proverbs, which is a book of wisdom. And Proverbs is written mainly, I believe, by Solomon. I never really said that before, but now I'm just really noticing I should say that. David's son wrote mainly all the Proverbs. And he's using the wisdom that God has blessed him with. That's why it's such wise things that Solomon's writing, because he's gotten all that wisdom that God gave him. And he's just writing down every good rule to humanity. He's just writing it down. So let me get back to this. And then I also say go to the New Testament, because that starts off where Jesus came and he gave his life and he rose again, and then keep on going through the Revelations to see where we're at now, and then go back to the Old Testament and see where it all started from. So I'm just inserting that interjection, and I'll restart because I now see that I just put two and two together. Sometimes it's weird, but I'm in my own mind right now. Okay, but anyway, Solomon's Proverbs. These are the Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son makes his father happy. A foolish one makes his mother sad. Wealth gained by doing wrong will not really help you, but doing right will save you from death. The Lord takes care of good people and gives them the food they need, but he keeps the wicked from getting what they want. Lazy hands will make you poor. Hard-working hands will make you rich. A son who works hard while it is harvest time will be successful, but one who sleeps through the harvest is worthless. People say good things about those who live right, but the words of the wicked only hide their violent plans. Good people leave memories that bless us, but the wicked are soon forgotten. The wise accept instruction, but fools argue and bring trouble on themselves. Honest people can always feel secure, but lying cheaters will be caught. If you fail to speak the truth, trouble will follow. If you speak openly, peace will come. The words of good people are like a spring of fresh water, but the words of the wicked only hide their violent plans. Hatred causes arguments, but love overlooks all wrongs. Intelligent people speak words of wisdom, but fools must be punished before they learn their lesson. Wise people are quiet and learn new things, but fools talk and bring trouble on themselves. Wealth protects the rich, but poverty destroys the poor. What good people do brings life, but wicked people produce only sin. Those who accept correction show others how to live. Those who reject correction lead others the wrong way. People sometimes lie to hide their hatred, but saying bad things about someone is even more foolish. A person who talks too much gets into trouble. A wise person learns to be quiet. Words from good people are like pure silver, but thoughts from the wicked are worthless. Good people say things that help others, but the wicked die from a lack of understanding. It is the Lord's blessing that brings wealth, and no hard work can add to it. Fools enjoy doing wrong, but the wise enjoy wisdom. The wicked will be defeated by what they fear, but good people will get what they want. The wicked are destroyed when trouble comes, but good people stand strong forever. Sending a lazy person to do anything is as irritating as vinegar on your teeth or smoke in your eyes. Respect for the Lord will add years to your life, but the wicked will have their lives cut short. What good people hope for brings happiness, but what the wicked hope for brings destruction. The Lord protects those who do right, but he destroys those who do wrong. Good people will always be safe, but the wicked will be forced out of the land. Those who live right say wise things, but people stop listening to troublemakers. Good people know the right things to say, but the wicked say things to make trouble. Okay, so of course we can look in that and say, oh yeah, these are all good things. If I was able to just live up to all these things, that would somehow make me a better person, and that's the point of Solomon to spit out his wisdom. It says something in here where he's doing exactly that, where I'm doing exactly that. He says that, where is it? Um, Let me go back. Food, worthless, high plans, but the wicked are forgotten, lying cheaters, speak the truth, springs water, hatred, intelligent people, yada yada, wise people are quiet, wealth protects rich, what good people do bring life, those are self correction, people lie, person talks too much, worse than good people, yada yada, good people say things, yada, it's God's blessing. Come on, this is long. The weak will be defeated, the weak are destroyed, when trouble comes, yada yada. Yeah, where is it? Good people will always be saved. Somehow I skipped over it. But I was reading it, I'll just get to the point. He's doing this and I'm doing that. Dang, where is it? Honest people, the wise. There it is. I skipped over it. Okay. Good people, and I'm not saying the stress is not on the word good, but it says good people leave memories that bless us. He's doing that. If he never wrote this, if he just said, God has given me all the wisdom in the world, and he kept all that wisdom for himself and just says, yes, I'm so smart, I'm good, and he never wrote anything down, nobody would know anything. We wouldn't be able to refer to this like we are now. So thankful for Solomon to write this, just like he's leaving memories that bless others. And this is what I'm intending to do with this. If it does not affect anyone in this time, I have no problem. God knows how to direct someone to this message when he needs to, whether it be in year 3,000, year 4,000, it doesn't matter. Eventually the message is going to get to the right person. Even if it's one person and it ends up changing their whole life when I'm long gone and in heaven, then I'll be able to drop tears and say, oh my gosh, God, you had me write this stuff down just so somebody else can listen to it. You had me make these videos just for somebody to hear about it. And I'm thankful that I got to change that one person's life. So that's why this is all done. And that's what Solomon's doing. He's looking up in heaven and he hears his words being written. And he's saying, thank you, God, for that wisdom you gave me. And thank you that somebody was so interested to hear off of what I had to say and believed in what I had to say and saw it as the truth. And I was able to contribute to their change of life, number one, their increase of wisdom, number two, their path to find Jesus Christ to be saved, number three, and so on and so on and so on. So he's probably dropping tears right now, Solomon, while he's speaking to God. So, yeah, that's something that he wrote in here. Good people leave memories that bless us, but the wicked are soon forgotten. Ask yourself, what are you writing down? What are you leaving for? I mean, you only got about 65 years. Some people are on 58 right now. I mean, you have a short life. Like, if you look around, you can see that either, this is no lie, either somebody usually in your life, the way food is set out for whether you're eating, it's easy to get to fast foods and we're destroying our arteries and kidneys. I mean, the lifespan is short. They can pronounce all day in the news, wow, people are now living longer than ever before. We've developed such technologies and all this. What you see promoted on TV usually isn't what's real deal going on. I mean, if you look around, not many people are passing the age of 65. If you're past that, you're lucky. You probably only have about 80 to go if you happen to get back past 65. Either way, time is short. Even if you got to the full 120 something years that God says that is the limit of how long human beings are gonna last. So God in his own word tells you, I mean, this is way back when they didn't even have medical science, or they didn't even have flights where you can go to other nations and find out how long are the people here living. This is God writing this. You only have about 120 something years to live, and that's it. God's writing this. This tells you who else could know this stuff. Who else could know that humans are only going to live to about 120? And if you see somebody ever that's 130, that person has a special blessing on their life. Just like God has done special things for people in the Bible where someone said, "Oh, I want the sun to the time to go back," or something like that, and God makes the sun go up for that one day in history or whatever. So there are special provisions for special people, but in general, God says you've only got 120 years, and these days that's halving. We don't even have that. We got about 65 years to live, and that's about it. So what are you going to do in those times? Have you written something down? Take time, take a peaceful moment to write your life to affect somebody else. Let someone else see the wrongs that you did, how you made it through certain situations, how you were able to forgive certain situations, that kind of thing. Take time to leave memories that bless someone else. Um, but the wicked are soon forgotten. You don't want to be forgotten. Leave something. I mean, anything. I mean, if you don't leave something by video, fortunately we have like the social media, like the Twitters and the Facebooks and stuff. Fortunately we have that. So if you die, but if you're not leaving anything at all, aren't you gonna soon be forgotten? Nobody's gonna remember you there except for your birth certificate if that's still on record. People clear out records all day. A few days ago, I was looking for my at least some sign that my private investigator license had been expired or something. And it used to be on the Texas Public Safety site, but all of a sudden they cleared all of that out. So it's almost like no record that I even have that license at all. It's the same thing with your life. If you're not leaving anything, how are you going to be remembered, or even how are you going to bless someone else? So that is something that I saw. Another thing that I was flipping through and I read, oh, of course, I love this one because I'm pretty quiet myself and I like it. Wise people are quiet. Thank you. That's like a compliment for me. I don't mind if I do. So, let's see. It was something else. That I wanted to refer to. Let me flip through. Fools enjoy doing wrong. Yada yada. The wicked will be defeated. Oh, this is one. When I was reading it, I'm like, oh, that's so awkward. That it's wise both ways. Solomon has a point here, but guess what? Steve Jobs, I think, said it. Apple guy. Steve Jobs, I think his quote is, if it's Steve Jobs, it might be someone else. But I think he says this. He says, "You know what? I send the laziest person to do the hardest task because they're going to find the easiest way to do it." But Solomon in here, he has a different opinion on that. He says, "Sending a lazy person to do anything is as irritating as vinegar on your teeth or smoke in your eyes." So he probably, as king, he's probably starting to, he had his own perception of something. But Steve Jobs, it's a good thing to see two people talking about the same thing and they got two different reactions. Solomon, he was admitting himself, maybe Steve Jobs was good at leadership or whatever, and of course, because look at the position he was in. But Solomon, you can see he still had that little mindset where, I have no clue really what I'm doing. Please help me, God. So maybe he wasn't able to enforce it like Steve Jobs was in some way, but King Solomon is sitting there saying, you know what? I found out that if I got somebody lazy on my team and I tell them to go do something, it gets irritating. I'm upset. It's annoying because they're not going to do it or they do it slow. But Steve Jobs over here saying, you know what? I tell somebody who's lazy, go do that job because they're going to hurry up and do it. So that just popped out to me. It reminded me of what Steve Jobs said because it's so funny that one person gets irritated in their leadership because they're sending a lazy person to do something, but Steve Jobs took it as a thrill, a challenge. He's like, hey, wait a second. if I send you to do this, I start noticing that you're gonna do it faster because you want to get back to go to being lazy. So I'm gonna send all the lazy people to do something now because they're gonna do it faster. But that's not. That might have occurred once or twice. You can imagine the perception because I've seen a lot of lazy people and doing work, and I know for a fact it doesn't always work out the way that Steve Jobs is talking. It more works out the way that Solomon's talking. If it works out the way that Steve Jobs is talking, you might be talking about one person, one or two people, or you might not have even seen it at all. He might have just that this does make sense. The the aspects of it all, it sounds like it would be right. So let me just make this a quote. Send the laziest person to do the hardest job because they're going to do it faster so they can get back to being lazy. But usually it goes how Solomon does. You send somebody lazy and they're poking around and they encourage somebody else to be lazy too. Then the whole group is lazy. And that's not how it works, how Steve Jobs said. It's more authentic to how Solomon says it. But it is something to consider how he said it too. Okay, so I'm just picking out um, some of the wisdom quotes that Solomon provided us with. Let's see. Yeah, it's too many just to dwell on each little section, but all the proverbs got straight to the point. Nothing hidden about the meaning to them. Um, let's see. Yeah, just give tips for your life. Now let me get to the specific one for today. Let me clear this up. Proverbs 10:17 was today's specific verse. And it says, those who accept correction show others how to live. Those who reject correction lead others the wrong way. So, being able to be corrected or being correctable, that is one of the traits you have, not traits even, it's not something that you have to be born with or anything. It's something that you have to want to have occurred. You have to want to be corrected if you are authentically coming to God, because you have to realize, number one, if you have never take the acknowledgement that you are sinful or you have something that needs to be corrected within yourself, then if you never acknowledge that, you're just gonna always think, oh, I'm perfect. You can't tell me anything. This Bible has a lot of stuff. Tips, great. Thank you for letting me see Proverbs, but none of that applies to me. I already do these things. I don't need correction. What are you talking about? If you never step out of that mode where you think that you're just perfect and you're better than everyone else, you'll never be able to be formed and reshaped by the body of Christ, by the life that Christ gave for you. If you come humble yourself, knowing that you're not all that in a bag of chips, and you come and say that, you know what, I laid down my thoughts and my bad attitudes and my arrogance into how I thought my life was or should be, I lay that down and I pick up Christ and his humbleness and I put that on me. I put on the armor of Christ. I put on who Christ was within me. And that's how I choose to live instead of my arrogant old self with an ego or whatever. So in order to come to God, you have to know you need something corrected. If you don't ever think you need anything corrected, who in the world would need a God? If you think you're so perfect, you need no God. Um, I've mentioned this before. I knew someone who, they passed away now, but they would walk around and constantly say, I mean, every once in a while, say that they're perfect. And they claimed also to believe in Christ and God. And me and everyone else around could see their imperfections. And it just made them look foolish to stand there and say how perfect they were when everyone knows they are not. So don't be a fool in the eyes of people who know who you are. Believe that you do need to be corrected. Believe that you aren't perfect as you are. And I'm not saying believe that you're not perfect. No, I'm not saying that to um, tell yourself to, what's the word, downgrade yourself or not have any confidence. This has nothing to do with your confidence level. This has to do with humbleness, and knowing that you do need some kind of correction because you didn't come in this world perfect, and you are definitely not walking every single day perfect in your life. Everybody else can see your imperfections but you. So don't look foolish. Don't do that. Okay, so um Those who reject correction lead others the wrong way. So just like was that I just did two videos back to back. I think it was in the other video, yeah, the one before this. I was talking about how this group always posts how always posts these things about against the Bible. This group called I Stay Woke. They're always on Facebook saying don't believe in the Bible, don't do this, don't do that, all that kind of stuff. They're who they speak of in the second part of this verse. Those who reject correction lead others the wrong way. So whoever makes these posts, they have gained such a following, and somehow in their life, I don't know how they've come to this conclusion where everything in the Bible is wrong, and they have to promote like Black Power and awakening and all this other stuff. They rejected God's correction basically, and now they're on a wrath and a path to lead others the wrong way. And just because they're saying what they're saying is sounds good, lots of people join and follow in. Especially uh, my Black culture, we like to have our identity and our almost pride of ourselves was ripped when we were brought to America and told that all our titles, every single title. There's not going to be a business leader. There's not going to be somebody, a farmer. You're not going to be a farmer. All your title is going to be a slave. So from that slave time, you work so hard to find your identity and get that pride back and get that new identity and be proud of who you are. So in doing that, some people like to take it where it's just everything's about black. Black this, black that. Why do we have the white Jesus, black this? I mean, it doesn't come out to that. When you're dealing with the things about God, there is no race that should be mentioned, really. Yes, and I say this a lot of times. When God decided to pick someone, he could have picked anyone. It doesn't matter. But he decided that this person, Abraham, would be the one he's going to make father of nations. And he's going to lead to, through his bloodline, spread the message of God all over. When it comes down to God, if anyone's talking to you about race, it's pretty much just good to just cut that conversation short. What are we talking about race for? Some people like to waste your time when it comes to godly things too. It's so weird. I mean, especially in my Black community. I'm saying that because I'm Black and I'm in my Black community. I've been around a lot, and whenever someone gets to talking about God, especially in the Black community, it always ends in an argument. Why is that? God's not about unpeaceful situations. God's not about trying to decide if Jesus Christ is black or Jesus Christ is white. This is not a Michael Jackson song where it don't matter if this is not black and white. It has nothing to do with this. This is God's spirit, God who is in each and every one of us, whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever race, in whatever race you are. It does not matter. So people, if you start looking around, you start noticing that. If you want to test it out, try me, especially in the Black community too. My Black community, my culture especially. Just mention the Bible and see where that conversation goes. Nobody's going to end up praising God. Nobody's going to end up saying, thanks, let's just hold hands together and let's have a peaceful moment and let's just give God the honor he wants. It's going to end in something like this. I heard in the Bible it was where God said that God don't like ugly. The most basic of conversations that has nothing to do with the body of Christ. If you bring up the Bible, if you bring up God, there should be souls and spirits that are connecting in that vicinity. But every time that I'm hearing the Bible brought up, at any age that I've been, and anyone mentions the Bible, whether it be in a school place or in the street or in a family meet, it doesn't matter. It always ends in the same way. God's black. Why must we force God to be? We want to lower God to our own equality instead of giving God the highness that he is. He is no color. There's no color of his skin. That's why that's one good reason why he is the invisible God. Because if he lets you see him, do you know how many rumors and all this other stuff was rolling? Yeah, I saw a guy had a little tint. He's a little clear, but I saw he had some kind of brownish tint on his skin. So you know what? I know he's black, and that means I am coming directly from him, and that proves why the first person ever made was found in Africa and I'm the black one. I mean, everything's not about, it's not a race war. We get so focused on that because we have this need and desire to know that we are no longer those slaves that the whole world was looking at and down looking at and discriminating against and treating us like garbage and only treated us like cattle where we were just born and birthed to serve a purpose and go to work and then just die and not even been cared about and we got the scraps. That's why it's formulated into our mentality of, especially in the cultures that I've lived in, my culture. I'm not just talking about race now, I'm talking about the culture of it all. It could be any race, Hispanic, white, in the culture that I'm talking about. It's a mentality where this looks like it's poverty all around me. So now I got to do everything that I can. I don't care if I got to rob, steal, cheat, lie, scheme. I got to get what I got to get so that nobody looks down on me like I'm just the peasant of the town or that I have less than everybody else. Because if you have less, it's already known that you're like the slaves of the old days. So you got to have what's the best. You got to go after what's good and you gotta always look the top best or else you're already in a poverty area and you also look poverty. So now you two times poverty, not just one. Everybody else is one. We all know. I see the neighbor. I can't chop my neighbor up because I'm living right next door. I can't say that they're in a poverty area. Ha ha ha. I can't make them feel belittled. But I can chop them up because they didn't steal, they didn't go rob the bank like me and get all this money so I can be out here flossing. I might still live out here, but now I got the money so I can live good, I can ride good, and they're still on bikes. So I'm better than them. And the financial mindset of money makes you better than everybody else. It starts to sink in, and that's what gets passed on to generation after generation in culture. And everybody's fighting just to look good on the appearances and financially and say that they have it all when everybody's missing a lot if that's what you think life is about. But that is just the subject of it. A lot of people, instead of praising our God and knowing you're not, we're missing the fact of what it is to praise God. Even I don't live my, I'm not saying I do everything perfect. I don't live up to the standard and give God the praises that He deserves. Um, as frequently as I should. No one does, I would say. I don't think, or not many does. Let me say that. God deserves all the praises. He deserves to be on your mindset all the time for every breath that you're taking. You should be giving him thanks that you're able to be alive in this moment. The majority of your life should be considering how God has brought you for, through this life that you live and how much he's done for you. But a lot of times we don't do that. And anytime that we, in my culture, anytime we get to talk about anything about God, it's usually we're trying to figure out if he's black or white. This is not a crayon Bible. This has nothing to do with black and white. It doesn't have to do, and it's so awkward that in the conversation, it doesn't even, the conversation never even goes to Jesus Christ's original nationality. Nobody's saying, is Jesus Christ black, white, or an Israelite? No one even adds the third Israelite. They're only worried about what they see on the pictures and what they put in. In churches, we've done this too. We've posted up this picture of Jesus Christ. Now, nobody actually knows, nobody got an actual Kodak picture of Jesus Christ, but we are getting, people get the perception that from the description in the Bible, hair of wool, that other stuff, and we don't get those pictures put up in churches or anything like that. You don't see a hair of wool, you see a straight haired person, and they're very bright skinned or whatever. Sometimes churches and religions, they try to formulate a perception of their own thing. Now, Jesus Christ, of course, came from the lineage of being Israelite. So, of course, out there, the skin would be a little tan, of course, or whatever. The hair would be like wool, just like someone who's Jewish or Israelite, of course. But at the point of all that, it doesn't matter what form Jesus Christ came walking in. If you, only thing, when somebody talks to you about Bible or God, the only thing you hurry and switch to is worrying about if Jesus Christ, what skin his color was or what color God is, then you missed the whole point. you should be listening about how can you come to the awakening that someone has actually given their life for you, and that you have sinned just like I've sinned or anyone else has sinned, and there's a payment due for that sin before you die. Wouldn't you like to take steps to find out how you can redeem yourself and through Jesus Christ before you find yourself dumbfounded standing before God saying that yes, I had sins, yes, I learned about Jesus Christ, but I wasn't sure if he was black and white, so I didn't follow him. Everything don't always snap every kind of situation to black and white. Sometimes there's an area of gray. I mean, it doesn't even matter about black and white. So there's even also a story in the Bible that tells about a man who wished he could come back to humanity or give a message to his friends or anything, but it was too late. Where let me remember what it says. I wish I could flip to it right now. I'll try to search while I talk about it. Um, this man, he says that he's going through the world, and um, I think it was a story where there was this homeless man, a beggar, and he's saying, please, someone give me something. But the rich man or whatever, he was in arrogance and he was rich, and he just walked past him like he didn't see it. And then a poor man had care for him, and he shared him. He shared what he had with him. And then so when it was time to die, then the man who was rich came before God, and God said, you know what? Tells the man directly, the rich man, when I was hungry, you didn't feed me. When I was poor, you didn't clothe me. When I was hungry, you didn't give me anything. And the rich man said, what are you talking about, God? I have never seen you on earth in my life. What are you talking about? I didn't never see when you were on earth when you were rich and hungry. And then God tells him that flat out, when you did this to the least person on earth, when you walked past that person and you didn't provide them with food or care about if they were sick or hungry or anything, that was me. You did the least that you did to that least of persons, that least of persons was me. I'm in everyone. You decided to not help nobody but yourself. You got that rich and didn't provide for anyone else but yourself. So God was speaking to him this way because he's trying to remind him of what kind of life he lived and what punishment is about to come to him. And then the person who did help the homeless man, the beggar, and gave him something, then God was talking to him more in a positive way, like, oh, you're going to get really rewarded because you know what? When I was hungry, you fed me. When I didn't have any clothes to wear, you gave me some. And the man also said, just like the rich man said, what are you talking about, God? I never even saw you on earth. What are you talking about? I never fed you. I never clothed you. What are you talking about? And then the man said, oh, and then God tells him, when you did this to the least person on earth, the person, if you imagine yourself, who would you call the least on the earth? It would be somebody who's probably on the street begging. You might call them a bum or a beggar or whatever. It would be probably that person. So God tells him, when you did this, when you helped out the least person on the earth, that's when you were helping me because I'm in everybody. And he got his reward. So one is getting punished and the other one's getting rewarded. So you can see how that is. And oh, that's what I was trying to lead to the part where I think that's the part of the tale when and then there was this man who he got sent to hell, and then he was like, well, God, let me just go tell my friends so that they can turn their ways around. Let me just please be a fair God. Let me just go back and tell them to believe in Christ and all this other stuff. He was begging God, let me go back and tell my friends so they won't have to come to this place of hell like me. I'm over here burning up. I'm in hell. Let me save them, please. And God's like, look, I have my people walking around all day and all night. They're preaching my word, just like me. I'm preaching his word, and whoever's listening, they hear it. It's your choice to turn your life around or not. And God's like, if you don't believe, if those people down there don't believe the people who are spreading the message now, what makes you think they're going to believe you as their friend? Now, I would say that of course, if that friend got to go back and say, hey, hell is hot, change your life around right now, that might influence their friends to change, but there's no guarantee. People do what they want to do, and if they have a real heart to change their life around, and if they have a real heart like this today's verse is, those who accept correction show others how to live. Those who reject correction lead others the wrong way. It's an either or. There's no guarantee that people will really change around, even if somebody came straight from hell and said, this is not where you want to be, please change So you won't have to come here too. I'm doing this as a friend. People still have their own choices. If you're still arrogant, have an ego, and you can't accept any kind of correction, you think you're perfect, and you think you don't need to change or need forgiveness from your sins, you're gonna be stuck in your ways, and you're gonna reject the correction and lead others the wrong way. But those who accept correction show others how to live. So that is all for this message. And I have one more for today. Please stay tuned to the message of November 9th and have a great day. If it would go off.